age, I've been in church. My dad's a pastor. My mom heavily involved in every church we've been at. Both sets of grandparents, they are just God-loving people. So I've been nurtured and blessed, really, to have a deep understanding from a young age of just, the Scripture, God, all that. Well, I was baptized at age 7. So people consider that young, but I, tried to live it, and I felt it in my heart, still do to this day, all that. Well, most people would consider that a basic one, but that's, some people need to hear that because that's more common than, because a lot of people have these deep emotional testimonies, which are phenomenal. I'm envious of the deep ones because I don't have that. But I'm not going to trade mine for anything because it's just, I've always had it, and I've been blessed for all my life. Well, I had a kind of a reckoning to re-envision my testimony. Last year, my sophomore year, was a rough one for me. Going into the year, looking forward to it, 10th grade year, gonna show out, all that. Well, cross country was coming up, and cross country was kind of my thing. I liked it, loved it, liked to run it. I kind of built the program back up. I was the first ever state qualifier in my 9th grade year. So going into my 10th, I was looking to just, cruise through it, crush it, all that. So I go, and with cross country, your goal for the year is to just be 1 second faster on the whole season, one race, 1 second faster than what you were the year before. I did not do that. I was shy about 20 to 30 seconds, and I was mad. Coming out of that year, cross country is a big mental sport. You have to be physically ready, but mentally, it's just such an edge that you have to have. Well, it affected me mentally. I was kind of down, whatever, all that. So then we go into basketball season. Had not huge expectations, but we were coming off of a Final Four appearance. So we were looking for at least, a 50-50 record. It wasn't. 7-19, worst in school history. I was the best player. All that goes to me. Every bit of that goes to me. That's messed with my head. Come out of my cross country season, didn't do great. Go into my basketball season. I feel like I let down basically my whole school because of that. And I was wavering. I had 2 college classes both semesters, and starting out in my first semester, I was doing great, whatever. They start wavering after cross country, not doing good. I ended up saved it, but going into my next classes, had a history class. History's not my thing. Was not doing good because basketball was just messing with my head over and over and over again. And I was kind of like, when you're rough seas, you got to anchor, but my boat was just everywhere. I wasn't centered. I had nothing to, I had the Scripture, but I had gotten away from it. I wasn't focused on it. So coming out of my basketball season, it was bad. I was, whatever, but it was over. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll get the rest of the year and I'll be good mentally, physically. I'll be good. Coming out of it, I had about a week. I was happy. My classes were going good. I was done. And then it hit me. Stuff wasn't going right. Sugar wasn't tasting so sweet. It was the little stuff over and over. Nothing big, little stuff. Kept going. And I had just woke up one day and it was bad. And I didn't even know why, because I had nothing, no pressure, no kind of fear of anything. And I'd gotten away from the Lord. I was going to church every Sunday, but I'd gotten away from it. Wasn't caring about it. And I resorted, YouTube's got all kinds of videos. I would just stay up all night, watch YouTube videos, whatever. I'm a known texter. I would text people just over and over, different types, variations, whatever. It was temporary. It worked temporarily, but it, on the long term, was not good. So I was struggling. I was just like, all right, whatever. I got to find something. And I remember Psalms 20, the 23rd Psalm, 4th verse is, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. For thou art with me." I interpreted the rod and the staff as the word, and I had been away from that. So I was like, all right, felt like a better word, screw it, I'm gonna go look in the Bible. So I was flipping through, no particular thing in mind, nothing was really, hey, just randomly flip. Nothing was really clicking, all that. Well, then I hit Hebrews 10:32. Give me a second, guy, before we get to it. All right, it's verses 32, 33, and 35. Remember the earlier days when, after you had been enlightened, you endured a hard struggle with sufferings. Sometimes you were publicly exposed to taunts and afflictions, and at other times you were companions of those who were treated that way. Verse 35. So don't throw away your confidence, which has a great reward. The throwaway part was what it hit me. I felt like I had just thrown away, to a degree, like I still love God, that never wavered, but I had thrown away the deeper connection and relationship that I had had. And it said, do not throw away your confidence, for it has a great reward. When I threw that away, everything else just went right with it. It was terrible for me, like a horrible feeling. And then I read that verse, and it got me back into it. And I was like, okay, so it says you're going to go through suffering after you've been enlightened even. And after I was baptized, 7 years old, that's early age, after that point, I had gone through a struggle. I felt like I was publicly humiliated and taunted on the running and basketball court just because we were getting blown out 30 and stuff. Like, that's terrible. Like, if you've ever been a part of that, it is a horrible, horrible feeling. So I just felt that way. And then that last verse there, the don't throw away your confidence, for it has a great reward. That spoke to me, still does to this day. And that's how I've kind of recentered and all that. So I'm wrapping up. Got basically two things. The first part was the early part. If you're like me, you've been raised in it early on, don't throw that away. Do not stray away. That's my struggle, is I have a tendency to gravitate towards other things, and I have to recenter back on the Lord. Do not stray away. If you're not so fortunate, and if you had to fight for your salvation and stuff, that gives you even more of a reason to stay and fight for your position and your salvation. Don't throw that away. Thank you. Yep.